Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am going to do we're going to call it weekly reads because it should be my Monday reads, but here it is Tuesday, and I made this video last Tuesday. Now, last Tuesday, I made the video in two parts because I did about 17, 18 books, and I believe this one here has probably 19. So, since it has so many, we'll have to see at the 10-minute mark where I land. So we're going to start with Well Matched by DeLuca. Now, if you watch my wrap-up video from last week, you'll notice that one of the last books that I talked about in that video was Well Played. Well Played and Well Matched are the third book in the Well Met series. These all take place around the Renaissance Fair. And the location is Willow Creek, and each story has a different couple. In Well Matched, we have a single mother. Her name is April Parker, and then the person that she is seeing is Mitch Malone. Now, they are as different as night and day. She's an empty nester. She's trying to get used to the fact that her daughter's about to go off to college. And she's thinking about moving away from the town and starting her life and getting back on her, starting her new life all over again. So she asked Mitch if he will help her to help renovate or bring her house up to speed so that she can sell it. Well, that's not the only thing that Mitch does. Mitch also works at Fair, and he has a role that he plays, and that role is not a serious one, but between the role he's playing at Fair and the job he has helping April with her house, somewhere in there, a relationship starts to form. Now, he's a busy man because he's also a high school coach and a gym teacher. But right now, they are going to go out to dinner. That dinner turns into a weekend. That weekend turns into something more. And while all of this is going on, we have scenes from Fair. Now, this is the third book that I've read in this series, and I think I have Well Traveled coming up in September or October, so I will be reading the fourth book. But it's a really cute little series. I'm loving it. I think I'm trying to see it. Yes, I gave this one 4 stars on Goodreads. I haven't written a review. Don't know if I'm going to have any time to write it soon, but that's all that is. And I've got to be brief on these reviews because I've got 20 or so. Then I read Death at the Crystal Palace. Now, Death at the Crystal Palace is a cozy mystery series by Jennifer Ashley. And the reason I read Death at the Crystal Palace is because I had The Secret of Bow Lane for a blog tour. And The Secret of Bow Lane is book 6. And it's called the Below Stairs or the Cat Holloway series. Goodreads calls it the Cat Holloway series, and Amazon calls it the Below Stairs series. And the first book was actually called Death Below Stairs. Okay, so I had read books 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I got book 6 for review. So I went back and obviously read book 5 because, me, the series fanatic that I am. So Death at the Crystal Palace, basically, Cat and her almost beau, I'll call him almost beau, Daniel McAdam, are attending an exhibition at the Crystal Palace. And the lady of the palace is determined that somebody's trying to kill her. Somebody's trying to kill me. Somebody's trying to poison me. And she asks Cat Holloway, who is a cook, and Cat travels from location to location with the expertise she does in cooking to really watch for the food to make sure that she's safe. Well, meanwhile, Daniel, he is working for Scotland Yard, but he's also the man of many faces because his job entails him going undercover, whether it's by accent or by attire or by class. And So he's working on crime against the crown. She's working on trying to see if somebody's about to kill this woman. And that's what Death at the Crystal Palace is. And it wasn't a review title, so no, I did not write the review. But I did review, I'm pretty sure I reviewed Death at The Secret of Bow Lane, because like I said, that was for a blog tour. Yes, so I did that review. So in that particular book, obviously we have Kat and Daniel again, but this is one where it's more personal about their relationship. There's something that happens in a discussion / argument that the pair have, that they go their separate ways. Meanwhile, Kat gets approached by a woman named Charlotte Bristow, and Kat knows that name, Bristow. In fact, Kat was once married to Joe Bristow, who supposedly died at sea. While Charlotte says, wait, no, I was Joe's wife. And you know what? He had a fortune, and we need to recover this fortune, and we can split it. So now Kat's trying to figure out what kind of marriage did she have to Joe, and what is going on in this with this fortune that Joe supposedly had. Now, remember, just prior to Charlotte approaching Kat, Daniel and Kat had an argument, but she needs Daniel's help, and so he comes back into the picture, and then we start to see their relationship start to reform. And it's a beautiful story set in a beautiful setting, and it's if you like cozy mysteries, then you're definitely going to love this book. I'm just crossing these off because I have so many. Then I read Thot by Chanté L. Reid. Now, Krishan, who is WTF Are You Reading, told me about this book on Edelweiss. Edelweiss is a review site. And so I went to Edelweiss, got Thot. Thot is only an 88-page essay / memoir / poems. 88 pages. Well, the woman, Chanté L. Reid, was writing a thesis on the movie Beloved by Toni Morrison. And a commotion went on in her building. And a woman in her building named Deborah Danner was gunned down by the police. What do? I Google it. I remember the case, but I didn't remember the name. Yes, a 60 or 70-year-old woman was approached by the police. She seemed to them as if she was being aggressive, and they killed her. One of the officers shot her, and she died. That murder, or death by cop, or whatever you want to call it, happened while our author of Thot, Thot, was composing this thesis. And I've already started my review for this, and I've already approached the publisher, I am going to include screenshots of the Chanté Reid's writing and note-taking in the book itself. And it's really, really, really deep. And it touches, of course, on Black Lives Matter. It touches on racism. It touches on the police and whether the police are too aggressive. And it touches on how a Black person speaks to another Black person versus how a Black person might speak to a white person, or how a Black person might speak to a white person in authority, and how different that might be than two Black people talking together. And I have to share something with you. I have to. And you're going to have to forgive me, especially if you're a Christian and you're watching this. If I go to my son's page on Facebook, right? He put up a meme, and the meme says, if I can find it, sometimes I speak with a high level of intelligence. Sometimes I speak ghetto as hell. Both times you heard WTF I said. Okay, I know that's pretty graphic, but as a Black woman with Black children, especially 3 Black grown men as sons, yeah, you know what I'm saying if I'm speaking intelligently, and you know what I'm speaking if I'm speaking ghetto, slang. Okay, word. Alrighty, so let's move on to Gone for Good. Now, I had, me and my series fanatic addiction. This is what happened with Well Matched and Well Played. I had Long Gone by Joanna Shaffhausen for review, but I hadn't read the first book, which was Gone for Good. So I go to my library and I get Gone for Good. And it is the Detective Annalisa Vega book number 1. And of course, Long Gone is Detective Annalisa Vega number 2. And I'll just tell you about both of them, and I'll pop both covers up here right now. And basically, the first book, there was somebody that was a serial killer that was named the Lovelorn Killer. He had killed 7 women, and then the murders stopped. So they thought he was gone. Did he die? Did he go to jail? And it was a cold case. Okay? But now there's this group of vigilantes, or like amateur sleuths, who get together in a chat room and they try to solve crimes. Well, they're still trying to solve this Lovelorn Killer crime. Well, because of their actions, one of them, named Grace Harper, gets murdered. She gets murdered. So now it's questionable whether or not the Lovelorn Killer is back. Not only that, but there's a personal side to this, because Annalisa Vega lost somebody that was very close to her by this Lovelorn Killer. So she really has an investment in it, and she finds herself in danger. That's all I'm going to tell you about that, other than to say that it is a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous read. 5 stars. Then I'm going to move on to Long Gone, because I read them, back to back. And Long Gone, I just want to get the plot to you, because I do have to remind myself. Now, here we have Leo Hammond, who is a detective who is murdered. When he's murdered, she feels that there's some type of corruption going on. Now, this corruption is deep, because something happened at the end of Gone for Good that changed Annalisa's life. It affected her personally, and it affected her professionally. So when she's trying to solve the murder of Leo Hammond, she's getting blowback from her co-workers on the police force. Okay? Meanwhile, there is a romantic edge. It's definitely not a romantic suspense, but there's a romantic edge to this book that kind of carried itself through after the first book in the series. Now, meanwhile, there is a suspect, but whether or not she will be able to arrest this suspect depends on if he indeed is guilty, and if she can catch him before any more murders take place. Now, this book was just released, today is the 9th, today. So I've got to get this review up, and believe me, I will. So I will probably most likely do a series review. So look on this channel for a longer, more detailed review for Gone for Good and Long Gone. So since I'm going to do that, we'll just stop here. Then I read Youre Invited by Amanda Jayatissa. Now, Amanda Jayatissa wrote this book like, okay, let me just say this. I said to Fashawn, I said, can you think of another book where you had a character quite like the character here? And I'm still trying to bring it up. The character, her name is Youre Invited. Yeah. The character's name is Amaya. And she gets invited to her former best friend's wedding. Well, when she gets there, and the wedding is being held in Sri Lanka. I don't even need to look down. So she's getting, the girl is getting married in Sri Lanka. And when Amanda gets to Sri Lanka, who in the world is her ex-best friend marrying other than Amaya's ex-boyfriend? So her ex-best friend is marrying her ex-boyfriend. Now, Amaya has something in mind. This week-long wedding celebration, due to Sri Lankan custom, is going to take place over a week, and that gives Amaya every opportunity to make sure that this wedding does not take place. That's the first part of it, right? The second part of it is Amaya is the most morbid character. Think of a female Dexter. Now, I've never ever seen the show Dexter. I've only seen clips. But imagine a character whose thoughts, every thought is a murderous thought. I wonder what it would look like if her head blew up. Or I wonder what it would look like if I squeezed her until her eyes bulged out of her head. I wonder if he would slip on that banana peel and break his neck. You know, this is how she was thinking. All while she was trying to sabotage this wedding. So that book review is already up. It's on this channel, it's on my blog, it's on Twitter, Goodreads, everywhere. So that is Youre Invited. Then I had The Elephant Girl by James Patterson. Now I do have to look this one up because I don't remember the co-author, and I think it's definitely somebody that I've never heard of. So let's pull this one up. I'm not pulling up every book because, you know, I'm pretty good at remembering a lot of stuff, but sometimes I need to pull things up. So The Elephant Girl was written by James Patterson, but his co-writer was Sophia Cravoy. Now, it's about a young girl who is growing up in Africa, and she's living among these elephants, and she's in, you know, she's speaking Swahili. She names this baby elephant named I'm not even gonna say it, Mbegu. Not even gonna say it. Well, she is more comfortable among the elephants than she is among her family and among her peers. And something happens to her and changes her life forever based on her relationship with these elephants and poachers who are destroying the African wildlife. So I don't know how James Patterson got with this Sophia Cravoy, but also Ella Banda Aku. Please forgive me. James Patterson, Ella Banda Aku, and Sophia Cravoy. And I got this as an audiobook arc, and let me tell you, it was fabulous. It really was. It's a young adult, middle grade / young adult, but very, very emotional, very, very good story. The book is already out, so I've got to write a book review for this one too. I have 1 million book reviews. Then I tried to read the book called Trust, and I thought it was in here, but it's in my bedroom. I'll put the cover up. I tried twice. I tried a third time, and it's a DNF. I think I got to page 129. I just couldn't. I couldn't. So I'm just going to leave it at that. That was my DNF for the month. Then I read, me and my series addiction. I had Luck and Last Resort for Blog Tour. Found out it was book number 2. It's by Sarah Grunder Ruiz. So I got Love Lists and Fancy Ships. First, you know, that's what I'm going to do if I can. I can't always do it, but if it's doable, I'm going to do it. So these books are about ship stewardesses. Yes, I love that. These are glamorous, I can't think of a better word for glamorous, but these are like high class yachts where these girls in each book, we have Joe in book 1 and Nina in book 2, and for the sake of time I'll put them both up there. They are working 4 months on the water on these ships, and then they work on a daily basis, 2, 3, 4 days a week, and then they have a couple weeks off, and then their season begins again. Each of them have an involvement, and their involvement in Joe's case is with a chef that his name is Alex, and Alex is a single father. But it's not a simple romance. Joe and her family have suffered a serious loss, a death in the family, and they're grieving. And over the summer, Jo has her nieces staying with her. And while her nieces are staying with her, they're dealing with the grief of loss of that family member. Meanwhile, as mentioned, Jo meets Alex. And the way she meets Alex is Jo is about to turn 30 and she has a bucket list. And on that bucket list, she has 30 things to do before she's 30 years old. Well, she's gotten 18 of those things done, just 12 more things to do, about 10 or 12 more things to do, and 12 weeks to do it. She's going to get these things done by the end of summer. Well, one of those things is to kiss a hot guy in a bar. So her and Nina go to a bar. There's a hot guy sitting over there, and Nina pretty much double dog dares her to go over and talk to that hot guy. He's amenable. He gives her a kiss. It's a kiss she'll never forget. Well, later she finds out that he lives in the condo building that she resides in, or he had just recently bought a condo. I'm not sure who got the condo first, but they're neighbors. And now they have a relationship. Great, great book. 5 stars. Remember, grief, family, love, connections. Excellent book. Then I moved right on to Luck and Last Resorts. Yeah, there is an S. I got to put that on my notes. Luck and Last Resorts, which is the second book. And by the way, Sarah Grunder Ruiz, Love Lists and Fancy Ships was her debut novel. Yes, a debut author. Now we have Nina, who we met in our first book, Nina and Ollie. We saw Nina a lot because Nina and Jo were BFFs, okay? Now, Nina didn't have a bucket list, but she had 2 rules. 1, always have fun. 2, don't rely on anybody but yourself. In so doing, she had a 10-year relationship with Ollie that was just on again, off again, on again, off again. Ollie wanted that relationship to be on solid ground, permanent. He was tired of the coming and the going. And now we have to get beyond the surface to see what it is that prevented Nina from wanting to accept the commitment of a permanent relationship. Now, book number 1 dealt with grief and loss, and book number 2 deals with mental illness. And both excellent 5-star books. Then I read a book that should be on my desk. I have some tax papers here, so they're on top of it. Then I read Nobody's Princess by Erica Ridley. And now, remember I said if I can, I will read previous books in series. In some cases, I can. Now, let me tell you what I feel about certain series, and I want to bring this up. Sometimes in mystery thrillers and sometimes in romance series, I feel that they do okay as standalones, okay? And I am making typo after typo after typo. You know, you would think I would have this stuff up, but I don't. So, this is The Wild Winchesters number 3, and I don't believe I read 1 and 2. I might have read 1, but I'm going to check. I'm just waiting for Goodreads to populate. Okay, no, I haven't read the previous books. I didn't think I did. And I didn't feel like I needed to. And I didn't. And I was able to really enjoy this book. But this book was right full of characters. And no doubt some of the characters that were in this book were in the previous 2 books. And they were called The Duke Heist and The Baby Mistake. But I love this book because Graham Winchester is a royal, and he had somebody named Kemi who was trying to become a royal guard. And as a woman, being a royal guardsman was forbidden. And not only that, there was a class distinction between the 2, but they were very drawn to each other. And that was Nobody's Princess. And I think I better get this review up. There are some novellas. So if you go to Goodreads, you'll see that there's prequel, novella, 1, 2, just novellas in between. But I just want to tell you, yeah, this came out July 28th, so I've got to get this baby up there. I got a lot of reviews. I'll probably write my reviews when I'm away on vacation. Oh, then my next book was by Davies, The Locked Away Life. I don't want to waste time to look it up. We had, I think it was Brian and Esther. Okay. Now, Esther was about 8. I said 88 in my video review, but I think she was 82. But she wanted someone to help her to learn how to use the internet. So she puts out an ad in the library, and I just want to make sure I've got the young man's name right. Bruno. She puts up an ad in the library, and someone named Bruno answers her ad, and he's going to teach her. Excuse me one moment. I have my AC off because it's going to be too loud if I'm talking on video. She hires Bruno to teach her how to use the internet. As she's working with Bruno, we learn something. She has secrets and Bruno has secrets. His secrets will affect his future, and her secrets go back to her past. And the two make a beautiful, beautiful team together. And this book is a very emotional book because this book deals with Bruno's secret, and it deals with a conversion program that could have been extremely, and was in some cases, dangerous. And even though Esther and Bruno had nothing at all in common, this story was really, really, really good. There are some excellent side characters. There's Dominic, Bruno's friend. There's Bruno's father and the relationship he had with his father. His mother is a great character, and his two sisters. Really, really, really good book. Okay, I'm going to continue this video because I think I only have 7 or 8 more books, so we're just going to go right through them. The next one I had was Send Her Back and Other Stories. This is a compilation of 16 different stories of women who are immigrant women in the U.S. and their immigration stories. They're mostly sad stories. In fact, they're dark stories, and then they get better and better, and then they get brighter and brighter. I've never read this author, Munashe Kaseke. Forgive me for butchering her name. As a matter of fact, I just double checked. This is a debut novel. And Munashe Kaseke was born and raised in Zimbabwe. So her characters are Zimbabwean. And they are immigrating into this country. I'm going to just give you one quick example. One character, in order to stay in the U.S., she could not get permanent citizenship. She had to get a student visa. Her student visa expired when she graduated college. So she had to get degree after degree after degree after degree. That meant staying in school for year after year after year after year after year. And then there was times like where somebody went to a dinner party and somebody says, oh, we have office cleaning jobs. Would you like one? And she goes, no, I'm a doctor. I don't need to clean offices. So, just little stories like that. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. Then I had Hidden Bones by Rita Herron. And this is the book number 6 in the Detective Ellie Reeves series. Now, this is a series that I'm a little messed up with because I read books 1, 2, 3, skipped 4 and 5, and 1 and 2, skipped 3 and 4, and then picked up on book 5. So I didn't read this book, the series, the way I should, and I'll get back and try to read the other ones. But this was basically about the small town of Crooked Creek, where a girl stumbles into a pile of bones, and when she stumbles into this pile of bones, it plays back to an orphanage of 30 years ago called Hawk House, and the bones belong to several children and to adults. Now that these bones have been discovered, there's a new rash of murders of young women, and now Ellie must determine what the tie is between Hawk House and the murders that are going on now. Meanwhile, there's a love triangle going on in this book. So that is Hidden Bones. Then I was going to get to my next book, which is Take a Chance on Grease by Sue Roberts. And let me tell you, whenever I'm about to read a Sue Roberts book, I always smile, and that's exactly what I did when I saw this in my queue. Now we have Orla, who at the age of 29, she had a major health scare, and I'll tell you what it was. I don't think it's a spoiler. It was a brain tumor. So she had surgery, and now she's recovered, and now she's going to go to Greece for a holiday. But she has another reason for going to Greece, and that is due to a family secret that her father has been hiding for who knows how long. Well, while she's in Greece, there's a romance that develops, but it's not an easy romance. In fact, the person that she's interested in doesn't seem to care, one whit about her. So while that's being developed, she has this ulterior motive that she's got to get to. And it's a women's fiction, very sensitive story, very, very, very good story. And I just loved it. And what I loved was the group of people that she met, because she stayed in like a small hotel. I think there were only 4 or 5 other guests, and things they did together. It was really, really a good book. Then we move on to Dreams of Magpie Cove. And just as in Take a Chance on Greece, where the woman had a health scare due to a brain tumor, in this case, Ellie McTavish is our character, and she has just had surgery due to cancer. Now she feels adrift. She's a corporate lawyer, and she grew up poor, she grew up struggling, and now she is making money left and right. But now that she's had this health scare, she's reevaluating her life. So she buys this Gulfstream, and she gets her best friend Fee, and they're going to take a long trip on the coast, a long road trip, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, all while she's in recovery phase from her major surgery. Now, they don't get very far. They get to Cornwall, but guess what? The Airstream breaks down. It's vintage. Did they have a mechanic look at it when they bought it? Nope. Ellie bought this thing sight unseen, and it breaks down, and she meets the town mechanic, and his name is Mark, and he tells her, sorry, but it's the transmission, and it's going to take a couple weeks to get all the parts. So they end up staying at Magpie Cove, and this is when Ellie's life takes a turn for the better, and it makes her rethink her job as a corporate lawyer. Very, very emotional story, very, very well done story, and a story of a woman who tries to find life after cancer, and also a woman who is dealing with body image after her cancer surgery. Really good book. Then I had to read a book that was based in Japan for a challenge I'm doing for Reading Rivalry. So I chose to read Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. Now we have a girl, she's 18 years old, just about to graduate from high school, maybe a month or two before her high school graduation. And she finds evidence of who her father is. She had been asking her mother her whole life, who's my father, who's my father? She knew she looked different. She knew she had the slanted eyes, the darker shade of skin, and she finds out that her father is Japanese. Not only that, but he's a Japanese prince. Well, she goes to Tokyo, and she meets her father, and she stays there for a while, and she tries to find her identity. Really good book. It's two books, so I do want to go and maybe while I'm away read the second book in the series. It's pretty much YA or new adult, but it's a really, really good book, very emotional book, because it's about her identity and fitting in as a royal, because she's pretty much now a princess. Then I read Local Girl Missing. Looks like that's where we can leave off. I did read a book. I started a book called Magic Strikes by Alona Andrews for another challenge, for another prompt in the Reading Rivalry Challenge. But I didn't get done with that, so we'll just end it here. And I think I can make this all into one video. So if you stayed with me, you're going to see a little bit of movement, because I do have to do editing these clips together. But I just wanted to give you this weekly wrap up, and I'm sorry that it ran so long. But I read like 20 books in 1 week. So there you have it. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.